and I got to work with the great Mr. Laurence Fishburne, and we had a really, I want to say, father son, uncle nephew, teacher student relationship where he would teach me the ropes. I was here to assist him to make sure that everything is going well with him.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the No Budget Film Podcast. I'm Kirill.
I'm Ivan, and today we are with a very special guest. We are with AXEL, and please, AXEL, tell us a bit about yourself and your journey in the film industry.
All right, my name is Axel. I hate pigeons, and I'm in the film industry. Thank you. Bye bye. No, I'm a independent producer. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years now. Coming off college, I've been doing TV production before. I was working for NBC most particularly. I also worked for different networks, including MTV and CBS once, I guess, and French TV as well. I'm located in Paris, and I started doing movie production in 5 years now. 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it's quite a challenge, but that's what we love, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be so fun if it wasn't so difficult.
I don't know about that, but let's say that I agree with that for now.
But I know that you started as an athlete, right? You wanted to be an athlete in the beginning.
Yeah, I my path is completely different from you guys. I for a long time I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I had really great athletic abilities, and that was the only way for me to actually keep up in school, because otherwise I wouldn't I wouldn't have made it so real far. So the deal with my parents was that if I had good grades, I could play sports. So when I finally realized that I could do good in sport, I could do well in sport, I fell in love with basketball and track and field. And to make a long story short, I left Africa where I was growing up, and I came down to France. I spent like 3 or 4 years in France, and then I was told to go to the US in order to, accomplish my dream of maybe becoming a professional athlete over there. So I went there and I finished high school, and I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go to school there and do some track and field and a little bit of basketball as well. Actually, while I was going to school, I got to go to New York, where I met um, these people. I met a lady called Denise Ribeiro, whom I considered like my second mom. Um, she's the reason why I fell in love with production, TV production, and everything. We met like a couple of years before in Paris. She was working for USA Network, NBC USA Networks, and they were covering the French Open, tennis French Open. And she told me, her and that whenever you come to New York, let us know. And I showed up in New York and I called her and she was like, how would you like to work on TV? I was like, I don't know anything about TV. So, and next thing you know, she hired me for the summer, and I started as a production assistant. And then I would do internship with them, I worked with them for, yeah, for my whole time at in college, and I was doing also some public relations stuff with her. She was like teaching me, the ropes and everything, and it was cool. Like I got to meet a lot of great people while doing this job with them. I met President Clinton.
What?
Yeah, like my
What?
first year with them, I met President Clinton. He came to watch the women's finals at the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've met Britney Spears, Lil Bow Wow. I met Queen Latifah. I met an actor called, you guys remember the Silence of the Lamb?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Anthony
Uh,
Hopkins.
the the bad guy.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins. Was it?
No,
No.
no, that's Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
But there's this blonde actor, Ted Levine. Ted Levine.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
He was portraying. I guess his name in the film is because he would kill those ladies and take
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
skin, and they called him, what was the name?
I forgot. I have it on the
I
tip
haven't
of my
seen the
tongue.
film actually.
You haven't seen it.
Oh my goodness.
That's one of
Anyway,
the classic, you know.
The
uh,
podcast has finished. No more film podcast. It's for you.
yeah. I'm done. Like, find another person. Anyway, I met Ted Levine. I met also what the names are coming out of my mind right now. I met a lot of actors.
Mm-hmm.
I met a lot of celebrities. Vanessa Williams, Rick Fox, Spike Lee. This is where I met Spike Lee actually,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't just meet him. We for a week like we would invite him. You know, USA. We would give him like VIP passes. He's a fanatic of sports. So I was in charge of making him feel comfortable. Him and his sister Nola, uh, and we talked about obviously Cameroon because his ancestry is in Cameroon, and he was really in love with the Cameroonian football team. We talked about his work and everything. But at the time, I didn't know that I was going to be involved in cinema whatsoever. Otherwise, I would have, definitely tell him that I wanted to work with him or whatever. But yeah, John Lovitz. Yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you guys are familiar with him. Uh, I met with John Lovitz. I met a bunch of people. I met the late Matthew Perry as well.
Mm-hmm.
From Friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh.
so yeah, it was really fun because I got to meet a lot of celebrities and people that now I might be hiring for a job or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
it was really fun.
It's also a place where you learn how to deal with these people, no? Probably, or
Oh yeah. Well, when you work in public relations, especially in that field, you get to learn how to deal with them because some of them are really well. Let's just be honest. Some of them are really weird. You know, their ego is really inflated, and some of them are the nicest person on earth. You wouldn't even imagine that they are superstars or whatever, but some of them can be really, really like they. So you have to navigate with their emotions and with their egos, and some of them are really arrogant. But what I found out is that a lot of them are quite insecure, and sometimes they wouldn't know how to. It's not that they are mean or whatever, but it's like they don't necessarily know how to interact with regular people. Uh, because also you have to remember, especially the actors, they are so on demand, and like people around them are always looking for something, so they don't necessarily know if you come to talk to them out of a genuine care for them, or if you're just looking for, you know, something from them, like money or favors or whatever. Or
Mhm.
if you're just gonna exploit them, you got a bunch of people taking pictures of them and then going out there and selling those pictures.
Mhm.
So um, it is quite uh, a weird atmosphere, and I've seen a lot of people really being disgusted uh, uh, by this whole universe of of the movie industry because of the behaviors of some of these people. But I want to say 85 to 90% of the people that I've met were really, really nice.
What were some
So
of the nicest like stars that you met, and do you have like a specific story or two uh, about them?
an anecdote you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I've worked with, like you guys know, I've worked the first two movies that I worked in were big Hollywood productions. The first one being John Wick Chapter 4 that we shot here in Paris 5 years ago. And I got to work with the great Mr. Laurence Fishburne. And we had a really, I want to say, father son, uncle nephew, teacher student relationship where he would teach me the ropes. I was here to assist him to make sure that everything was going well with him. Uh, but he took me under his wing and he would teach me. He knew, like, I told him flat out that this was my first time on a movie set or whatever. So he went out of his way to teach me the ropes. You know, pay attention to this, pay attention to that. Always have your radio on. Make sure that everything, like listen to what's going on. And he would give me advice. He would also motivate me to pursue my dreams and my goals. You know, as you guys know, I have tons of projects, and he actually flat out, like, I think the first day he was like, we need to collaborate on a documentary together. Like he had this documentary project where about music, black music and everything. So he wanted me to be part of that, and I was like, hell yeah, hell yeah. So, and he loves Paris, and before the end of, because he didn't, his part on John Wick Chapter 4 was not as big as the Chapter 3. So he would ask me to find a project that will allow him to come and work in Paris for a longer time, so he could enjoy Paris. I'm still working on it, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
you guys. We had a perfect project, but unfortunately, the director, because I was going to be a producer of the movie. It's called Malaika's Secret, and but the director lost the whole project, like his computer burnout,
Oh.
and I couldn't find my version of it. I'm still looking for it. I couldn't find it, so
Mhm.
we have to rewrite the whole thing, and it's a mess. So I'm looking for another project to introduce him to, because I would definitely love to be the person that can bring Mr. Fish up in Paris and give him a
Mhm.
role, whatever. So
Mhm.
that's so if you guys have a nice project, you know what to do. And the second, and also, well, I got to meet also Keanu Reeves, obviously, and he's exactly what everybody's been telling about him. Like, nicest guy ever. Like the same. He didn't have to talk to me because he was busy and everything. He was producing the film, but one day he was just in his green room, and he just started talking to me. He was like, so that's your first time. And then we talk, and then at the end he was like, "Well, welcome to the show," and and I was like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate that."
As your career has focused more on producing in general, and now you're starting also to produce movies, yeah, what are the struggles or like key learnings, or what a producer does actually do? I would also ask you, because you did a lot of television, what's the
hmm
difference also between? It's a bit of open question,
Mm-hmm.
What I've learned is that the money is the main issue all the time, and that, my friends, is the like without money it's complicated, and it's really complicated to look for money. Like apparently there was a time where actually funding films has always been hard because I see documentaries about Orson Welles
Mm-hmm.
back in the days struggling to fund his films, and this guy is considered one of the greatest movie makers of all time. So um, um, Francis Ford Coppola, who spent more than 30 years trying to fund his latest project. Um, uh, who else?
John Cassavetes also, who John
Yeah,
Cassavetes, yeah, yeah. A lot of
yeah,
very
yeah.
popular filmmakers always
A
struggle.
lot, a lot of filmmakers. I want to say 95% of the filmmakers
Mm-hmm.
are struggling to, even when they are well established, are struggling to fund some of their projects, especially when those are passion projects. Uh, uh, um, someone like Michael Bay, for example, I don't think would struggle that much to fund his projects because he's making blockbusters films that are really going to. Actually, I met him. Nice, nice guy. Like nice guy. I'm a big fan of his. Like he's doing the films that he wants to do, and he understands that making movies is to entertain. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and people give him craps for that, but I have no popular movies are the best movies as far as because of the fact that they entertain the masses. You know, of course we have to do some movies where that are more meaningful or whatever. But at the end of the day, going to the movie theater is being able to evade, you know, for like 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
and forget about your problems, forget about the hardship of the world, forget about all the nonsense that's going on right now, especially in those 2020s where everything seems to go to, excuse me for my French, but everything seems to go to shit. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's going crazy. The politicians, the people, social media, everything's going crazy. So going to the movie theater and watching a film where you don't have to think for 2 hours is a good thing. It's a good thing, and if it's well done, it's even better. So I'm a sucker for Transformers, for Bad Boys, for all the movies that he's made before, for Armageddon and all this stuff. So I'm a huge fan of his. Um, Being a producer could be so many different things. You can be a technical producer, or you can be a administrative producer, or a financial producer, or you can be all of that at once. Um, the bigger the production, um, the lesser you are spread it out. You know, um, when it's a small production with a small budget and you have a small crew, most of the time, as you guys know, you will be the writer, director, and producer of the film that you're trying to put together. And producer, once again, is going out there looking to funds for your film. Uh, that's production. That's executive production, depending on what side of the world you are. Like in
Mm-hmm.
here, in France, executive producer has more to do with the technical aspect, while in the US, it's more about the finances. Um, a a line producer, as we were saying earlier, is more a technical producer. Has to do with the lights, the cameras, or whatever. But you also, as a producer, get involved in the creative aspects, and I'm really heavily involved in the creative aspect because I get to write some of my concepts. I get to rewrite some of the scripts that I'm working with on. Um, I've and I get to to talk with the director on on his vision, and like for example, I'm working with my director on Broken Glass, and I took the liberty. I took the decision. I made the decision that it was supposed to the main. It's a story. We talked about this, guys. It's a story about Alain Mabakou. It's an adaptation of Alain Mabakou's novel, uh, which takes place in Congo. And the director wanted to. His name is J.J. Biggs. He's a Chilean French director, really talented, and a good friend of mine. He's in love with Africa. He's been working in Africa for 20 years now. So he wrote the script, and he had an actor in mind that he wanted to work with, that he worked with before. His name is Eric Ebouane. He's from Cameroon, actually. Um, but as much as I want to work with Eric, I needed the main character to actually be Congolese because I need them to speak the local language, which is Lingala. But I need them to speak Lingala in a real fluid way, so that it will feel more authentic. It would be more real. So I asked the director. I was like, "Can we give Eric another role? But for the lead character, I really want him to be from Congo." Um, so that's part of also uh, the role of a producer, right? You
Looking at
kind
the
of
practical
control.
aspect, kind of, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Also looking at the practical aspect of the
Yeah,
story.
exactly. Looking at the practical aspect, and uh, but I don't want to be the kind of producer who's like just giving orders, you know. So it's conversations, because like I said, I'm learning, and I'll be learning this job until my last day on this earth. So to me, it's a learning experience. But as much as I learn, I also have my background that I can bring in, you know, not only as a producer, but also as a fan, you know. For example, for this work the role that I wanted to give to Mr. Fishburne uh, on Malaika's Secret. When I spoke with the author of the script and the director, um, I made it clear that I wanted Mr. Fish to. I didn't want to see Mr. Fish portraying a portraying a character.
Mr. Fish,
You
is
guys
that a
get
nickname there?
you
Yeah,
guys get
really. It's every time they Mr. Fish.
Uh,
I'm imagining a fish. Yeah, really.
yeah.
It's so fun.
I really wanted uh, to see a character in the movie. I didn't want to see a great performance by a great actor. This is something that I really, and the same. I'm working with another great Cameroonian actor who's Emile Abo Solombo. Um, Great guy, great guy. It's like I call him my uncle actually. Great guy, great actor. He actually did a movie with Jim Jarmusch back in the
Oh,
days. Yeah,
wow.
he he's a really good actor.
Hmm.
But I keep telling him, I don't want you to give me a good performance. I want you. Actually, he's gonna be the second main role in the film, uh, supporting role. But I'm like, I don't want to see you giving me a good performance. I want you to be the guy. Like I want to, when I look at you, I want to see this character. I don't want you to give me a good performance. Good performances are great, right? Uh, but I want authenticity. I want something. And my my girlfriend keeps telling me that I have directorial skills, and I'm like, no, just because I'm telling someone how I want to see them portray the character doesn't mean that I'm a director. And she was like, yes, it is. It's not, yeah. But I'm like, yeah, but I don't know the whole technical stuff, like on how to, you know, move with the camera, all that. I can tell you that for this shot, for this particular scene, I can tell you that I need, close up or something wider or whatever. But it's as far as this goes. I didn't go to film school, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, I need you to cut at this very moment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So as a producer, I get to give my 2 cents on the creative part, unless I wrote the thing myself and I have a clear vision of what I want to do. That's when, my involvement on the creative part is even more heavy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So,
That's a very, like, I've had limited experience with producers, but mostly the ones that I had experiences with were very just open to the creative
suggestion?
side. Yeah, to just give
Right.
suggestions, but not to tell you like, no, this is how you have to do it. But I heard from some actors who had experience both in the U.S. and in Europe, and producers are completely different. Like in the U.S., like as a director, you are or an actor, like you're treated as a pawn, I guess, in this larger scheme. And in Europe, there's a lot more freedom, I guess, for the filmmaker. Is that also kind of your experience meeting producers? And what about Africa also? Like the producers that you met in Africa, how is their approach?
Um, oh, that's actually a good question. My experience in Africa is not that big for me to be able to completely give you uh, an honest perspective
Mm-hmm.
of how it works there. What I can tell you is that to answer your first question is that indeed in North America you're pretty much a pawn, and unless you have some kind of power,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where you can say, I don't want to do this. I'd rather do this way, this way, or this way, or that way. Um, you're pretty much a pawn. In here, um, I don't know. I will tell you about French movies and French film makers. The directors are quite bossy as well, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, I find it like, for example, I'll give you a good example. There's this movie, extremely popular movie in France that was shot in the late 90s. It's called Le Dîner de Con, the dinner's game.
Okay.
Um, extremely funny movie. Well, two of the actors in the film are famous for saying that it was one of their worst experience as actors because the director was so hard on them because he knew exactly what he wanted, and until he would get what he wanted. His name is Francis Weber. Uh, they didn't want. He wouldn't let them, get away with it, and it was really, really, really hard. But he was tough. But he knew what he wanted, and the result was fantastic. So
Uh,
I don't know if in at least in France, I don't know if in France you have, as an actor, you have so much leeway where you can actually have like a freedom of imposing your
mhm.
view or actually suggesting or whatever. I know I know Gus Van yeah, was it Gus Van Gus Van Sant who did the the
Many films.
trilogy,
Mm.
the before trilogy.
I know
Ah,
that
no,
was
no, no, that's
Richard Linklater.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
Richard
Hmm.
Linklater, Gus Van Sant, my bad. Richard Linklater was heavily collaborating with the two leads.
Hmm. Yeah.
They were really involved, especially Julie Delpy being the director herself. They were really had a collaborative effort. So
Yeah,
yeah, you are a clog in the machine when
Hmm.
you're in the US, but I kind of feel like it's quite the same in France,
But
actually.
I
In
guess
France,
in France, maybe the director has more power than the producer,
yeah,
would you say?
yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Uh, no, the producer have more power in France.
okay, but do they also influence the creative part of the movie? Like, are they as controlling as they are in the US, would you say? Generally speaking, yes.
I want to say no,
Mm.
but they apply pressure in a different way
Hmm.
than in the US. In the US, it's like the Hollywood machine, you know, who's like heavily lean on you, and you have no way. I was I was watching, I was looking at, because once again, I'm learning. So when I was shooting the murder mystery film, as you know, there's a lot of times where you don't necessarily have anything to do, you know,
Hmm.
On a set, yeah,
on
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
set. So I would take that advantage to actually watch other people working and everything. And I was looking at this poor director, and oh my God, he, he had a lot of pressure on his shoulder. Cool guy too, but he, I didn't feel like he had. It was more like a film on demand for him. You know what I mean? It's like I
Mm.
didn't feel like he had the freedom of being creative and do some stuff that came out of his mind.
But that was a
So
project for a streaming platform, right? So it was like
it
a
was
series.
Netflix. It was Netflix. It was a
Netflix, okay.
Netflix
Hmm.
film.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
It was a Netflix production, collaboration with Adam Sandler's
Mm,
film production.
okay.
So
Hmm.
Adam was cool the whole time. I didn't feel like he was. Actually, his team was pretty cool. Um, but you know, sometimes it was harsh. Americans are really uh, when they are in control, they really are in control, and there could be some moments where you don't
Hmm.
feel like you're in a military production. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
it can be really really intense sometimes. But overall, it was. I would say that yeah, the Europeans are less controlling than the Americans.
But
Hmm.
also, in general, I seem to understand that that's also one of Kirill's favorite leitmotifs in his life. That as a producer, your take is to basically serve the story. That's the point, no?
Um, I agree with that. I agree with that. Uh, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess yeah, that's kind of my vision, I guess, of a film. Like
Of
like
every
as it,
role.
over every role, yeah, everybody is trying to make a good story. It's not just I'm serving the director and whatever his vision is. Like the director is also at the service of the story. That's kind of my opinion. But there are still directors who, of course, are more imposing. on the artistic side and tell everybody what to do, and nobody really understands them until they see the finished product. I heard the
Yeah,
same thing about like Mad Max Fury Road, that a lot of actors couldn't
great movie.
understand. Yeah, awesome movie, but some actors were like, I don't get what we're doing here in the desert, and what are you shooting? Like how? But then they saw the finished product and they were like, yeah, this is incredible, and now I
Yeah,
understand.
I heard about this, and to be honest, I don't quite understand. Um, the Mad Max series has been on for what, 40 years now? More than 40 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably more. Yeah.
Uh, when you sign the contract to get into Fury Road, you should know what you're getting yourself into.
Hmm.
All the movies are being shot in the desert, except maybe for the first one, who wasn't really shot in the
I mean, it
desert.
was shot in Australia anyway. Like,
Yeah, but
but
I mean, like it wasn't the set wasn't really desert-like. It was still, you would still see some cities and everything.
yeah.
But the second and the third were,
Hmm.
so I don't know. Sometimes you got to do your homework. It's nice to get to. It's not to have people cutting you a check for an appearance, but there's got to be like if you asking me to go work on Mad Max, I know for a fact that it's going to be on the desert and it's going to
Hmm.
be crazy and
Hmm.
like I don't understand those criticisms,
Yeah,
but
well,
you
I don't
know
remember exactly what they said, but like I think they some actors at least, and maybe other people involved weren't quite sure about the vision of George Miller, right?
Maybe also because I mean it's I know it's usual practice that you don't give the whole script now. So I don't know. Maybe someone
Yeah,
got only a couple
sometimes.
of pages, or maybe you get like 1 page a day. You know, so like
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
you doing?
Actually, but that's a question I had. Like when you were working on John Wick, for example, like these big productions, are you given
The
how much
script.
information are you given about the story?
well, for John Wick, it was particularly it was different because now I don't want to spoil it to anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet.
Oh, it's out, so
Yeah.
they should have.
Well, it's been out for quite some time now. He dies at the end, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
I
at
haven't
least
seen it, so
supposedly.
that's a spoiler for me. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I did give you a warning.
Okay.
Um, he's supposed to be to be dead at the end, but I feel like this information wasn't given to like we had the script.
Mhm.
It looked like he was going to die at the end, but it wasn't specifically noted that he was dying. You know,
Mm.
uh, so they left it in a way. The way he dies at the end, you could say, well, I'm not sure that he's dead actually. So we had the whole script in advance. We
Mm.
read the script and everything.
Mhm.
Even
Uh,
just as a personal assistant, let's say, like also other members of
yeah,
the crew that are
yeah,
not
I
the
had it,
director,
but
like
like sometimes they would give us
daily.
uh, the dailies,
Mm.
But I had the script
Mm.
from
Mhm.
my initial
Okay,
involvement in the process.
cool, cool. Yeah.
Uh, and I was actually surprised because you sign an NDA, of course, and everything, but I was surprised that they would let us know that. Like it's a little bit like the Empire Strikes Back when Luke Skywalker discovers that Darth Vader is his father.
No, really.
Apparently,
No.
yeah.
That's-
Apparently, only 3 or 4 people knew about it.
crazy.
George Lucas, the director.
Mm.
Uh, I don't know who, and Mark Hamill, the actor.
Wow.
The
Okay.
the rest of the production didn't know about it. So,
Wow.
and I think that's cool.
Mhm.
You have to leave. some secrecy like that. And Marvel is famous for that because they're so afraid of leaks and everything, so that they most of the time like the actors find out about some of the twists on set on the day of shooting.
Well, that might be
Uh,
must be exciting sometimes. Like also while you're working on it, I heard about Breaking Bad that usually maybe some people maybe the main actors got like the whole script, but most people just got specific scenes, and the
right.
rest was just blacked out.
Exactly, exactly. And so I don't see a problem with that. I can understand someone who's been in a comfort zone, coming shooting their films, in a certain way where they feel comfortable and always having the script ahead of time or whatever, whatever. I can see why they'll be unsettled while filming. But and then again, it depends on what film you're shooting. For Broken Glass, the film that I'm shooting, there is it's an adaptation of a novel, so it's not like we're gonna keep it a secret. Like, at the end of the film, something happens to the character. Uh, we're not gonna hide that from the audience. I mean, from the cast and the crew. But if you're doing some kind of blockbuster, which is supposed to be a franchise and everything, yeah, that's when you want to you keep it close to your chest, because it also helps build the anticipation for the film, and marketing wise, and et cetera, et cetera. So
But you also
yeah.
worked on some fashion campaigns, if I remember properly, right?
With Rihanna, right?
Oh yeah. For Dior, for Christian
And
Dior. Yeah.
there, I mean, I don't remember what was. I mean, I remember her walking in the Versailles Castle, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was any audio or music or anything, but like in that production, did you know
hmm
something, or was it like,
No,
yeah,
no, no. I didn't know anything,
Oh.
especially because I joined real late.
okay,
I joined real late, so my participation on that particular thing was really small. You
okay,
know,
okay, yeah, yeah,
so I wouldn't bring that up as a no. And this is a total different world. Like, this is commercials. This is completely different. Uh,
Also
yeah,
because
it was
probably it was the launch of a new product or something like this, no, I guess,
the launch of what?
of like a new line of products
Yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was her introduction, not a new line, but it was her introduction as a replacement for
For okay.
Charlize Theron.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was like a big
uh,
news. It couldn't come out
right.
before.
Because
Yeah.
she was Charlize Theron was the face of J'adore Dior for like 20 years, from 2004 to 2024.
Wow.
Wow.
And she's still with Christian Dior, but now no longer the face for this perfume. So they completely flipped it on 360 degrees, and got Rihanna, I guess, to appeal to a younger uh, audience,
Generation. Yeah, yeah.
and but also maybe also to bring in uh, black female customers, you know. And marketing wise, I thought it was a good call. I just didn't think that Rihanna was the best uh, was the best for this particular perfume. Um, Europe is really conservative, and they were so used to Charlize. They were expecting someone that looked like Charlize, you know. And even if it was another white actress, it would have been tough for her to step on Charlize's shoes. And I felt like they kind of threw Rihanna under the bus. It was because it was a total, like, it was a total different type of energy. I felt like Rihanna should have been launched for a new perfume, not as a replacement. Like she deserved to have her own line of perfume, her own scent or whatever. I didn't think it was a nice thing to do, like, and I thought it was too brutal as well. You
But
know?
in that case, you knew that it was this production at least, or like you didn't know anything. You just arrived. Ah, we are on set in Versailles. Oh, there is Rihanna. Like, oh,
Yeah, it was like that.
I was like
I
that.
did mention like because because I was one of the only black people around. I was asked how I felt about this, and I just told him I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And actually,
Ah, okay.
the reaction from the French audience wasn't good at all. You know, as much as the younger audience was satisfied with her, because obviously Rihanna is extremely popular. Um, it wasn't it wasn't a good call. Like I felt like they did her a disservice as a they should have they should have created a new fragrance and have her to be the face of that fragrance. It would have been more successful than to, and she's too big for being someone's replacement. You know,
Yeah.
I I wasn't. I still don't think it was a good idea. I need to check actually on the numbers and see if that the sales have dropped or when.
Or if they kept,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds like
No. This wasn't my favorite thing. Like my involvement into that was really small.
but you've worked a lot in commercials, right? And
Yeah.
how is the approach of like the people around you who work there, and your approach also, is it more chaotic? Is it still kind of collaborative to a certain extent, or is it a lot more like this is what we set out to do beforehand, and now we have to just run through everything because we don't have any time? What is it like? What's the atmosphere, I guess, in that
It was
environment?
more like a work on demand. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
work with a production company or with a commercial company. Uh, what's the name? A publicist and all that stuff. You know, they already have their crew. They already had. You know, it's like I was just a clerk on all these projects. Like I wasn't involved in the creative aspect. I was just an assistant working there as you know. I wasn't involved in the Apple commercial that I showed you guys. Was really just there, you know, working. You know, no, I wouldn't be able. No, it's more. I wish I was in the office when the
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 creative side
create
was decided,
was
yeah.
was taking place, but I was never involved into that, so I couldn't like my perspective is not really good enough, knowledgeable enough for me to actually give you real infos about how it works because I wasn't really involved into that. I had a blast doing them, definitely, but no, it wasn't really collaborative at all.
Okay.
Like the director shows up and he knows exactly what he wants to do, and we're just doing it. And then again, Americans, you know.
Right.
And in on the other side, like we didn't tell how we met you, but it was really casual at the Cannes Film Festival in 2021. At I don't remember what was the name.
The COVID festival.
The COVID. No, it
But
was 1 year after. No?
Afrocan. No, it was that year.
It was that year.
Yeah, and there was like a sub festival, I guess,
Yeah.
Afrocan.
African, right?
Afrocan, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is still going on.
Afrocan?
I think
It
that's
was
what it's
named like
called.
that, no? I guess where.
I don't remember that.
But you.
Afrocan?
But it was the.
I remember Spike Lee was the president.
No. The where we met like was a separate area just for like they showed a Namibian movie.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, my bad.
And
Oh,
By
yeah,
the
with
way, Spike Lee
the
was
yeah, yeah,
even the
yeah, yeah.
director that year, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
remember
when
that.
where we met with Steven and
Yeah,
Theo.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was a separate. The Cannes. Well, for those that are watching, the Cannes Film Festival is 11 days or
Yeah.
12 days of cinema markets,
Mm-hmm.
and around you got the stuff that you see on TV with the walks, the stairs, or whatever. But around that, it's a whole bunch of different events where people are trying to sell their projects to other people that are looking for to buy, film, short films, and et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, one of those events were Afro Can. I was surprised to see you guys there. you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and we watched that beautiful movie from this Namibian director. Y'all remember the title?
I think The White Line. I think I saw it
Yeah, it was
before.
the white
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The
Mm-hmm.
White Line. Beautiful movie. I've been trying to get in contact with that director,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't been successful so far. But I'm still trying to get in contact with her. Beautiful movie. Yeah, that's how we ran into each other at the
Yeah.
end of the film, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. But that's also just to say that, I mean, I see that for you, it's a lot more about the project, the ideas, and also promoting African cinema, because clearly it's something that you want to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is something. Thank you for acknowledging that. This is something that I'm really really looking forward to do. Not that I don't want to make Westerner films and everything, but while I'm African, I believe that we have so many stories to tell, and we want to tell them the way we want to, as opposed to having our stories told by Americans, Europeans, Australians, or whatever. We don't mind collaborating, but I'm trying to promote African stories uh, told in an African way. I mean, you guys can definitely tell our stories, but I think it's Denzel Washington who once said that The Color Purple, made by Steven Spielberg, is a great film, but it would never be told the right way because Steven Spielberg is not a black American. He did a tremendous job. This is actually one of my favorite movies. But had he been told by an African American, maybe there's some details that you guys, for example, as Europeans, wouldn't notice. But because the director
live
is from that
different.
culture,
Yeah.
they will tell the story in much accurate way. I don't know because once again, I feel that movie is almost flawless to me. So
But that's also how to say, like Schindler's List, for example, by
right,
him, you
yeah.
know,
Well,
it.
if I was trying to tell the Schindler's List story, I'm not sure that I would necessarily not that I would do a bad job, but there's some there's some stuff that I could never understand because I, I'm not I'm not part of that. I'm not Jewish, and there's some and there's nothing wrong with that. Like you can't know everything, you know. And I was telling to Tati Rujeji, who's a South African Rwandan actress, and we were talking about this, and she was telling me about a project that she's been cast for about the genocide in Rwanda, and that movie is going to be told, directed by a Jewish American director, and this I was like, I don't know. I mean, I understand, but I wish it could be told by, uh, first of all, an African director, but mostly a Rwandan director who understands really because it's in his DNA, you know. Um, so, but it's a vast subject. Like you don't necessarily have to be gay to tell a gay story, you know. You don't necessarily have to be black to tell a black story, but I feel like us Africans we've been witnessing uh, the white world telling our stories without consulting us, without letting us tell those stories from our perspectives. So I feel like it's time for Africa to actually make movies that are telling its story, but in a more entertaining way. Because that's the problem that I have with African cinema. It's changing now. Uh, we've been stuck into trying to make elite movies, too much intellectual movies, and we've been trying too hard to serve the stereotypes. You know, if it's a story, it has to talk about hardship, misery, etc., etc. When Africa is not just that, and it's far away from being just that. We got beautiful, wonderful people over there with beautiful, wonderful stories, and funny stories, drama. We can make action flicks. We can, all that stuff, and it's up to us to actually tell those stories as opposed to just cry about it. Like, well, why don't you guys tell our stories the right way or whatever? No, let us tell our stories and entertain the masses with them. So
What are some of the fastest growing like film industries in Africa? Like which countries would you say, like would you recommend us to look out
South
for?
Africa,
South Africa.
South Africa,
But isn't it
South
again also
Africa,
white cinema
Nigeria.
there or
Nigeria is actually Nollywood. It's called Nollywood.
Nollywood? Okay.
It's
Ah, yeah,
actually
right.
the
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember.
I think like they're like second after Bollywood.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know.
But they're more like in this way they are telling, I guess, more black stories than South Africa, no? Because I remember looking up South African cinema and a lot of films were made by white people there. At least the famous ones, most of them were told about some
Really?
rich, a lot, at
I
least
guess
a
the ones
lot.
that we know over here, but definitely there have been some very famous films from South Africa made by black South Africans. I've heard of this one. I don't know if you've seen it. It's Tsotsi.
Ah, right.
That was
Yeah, Tsotsi is a great movie.
Let's
Ooh,
see.
Tsotsi is a great movie, and Tsotsi could never be told by a white dude. No, Tsotsi is a great movie. Actually, if you go to Netflix, there's a lot of South African movies there, and those are black stories. Rom-coms, comedy, drama. They also have like TV series as well. You know, so. Uh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Developing.
The
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the most famous South African directors and actors are actually white. I agree with that. But
But for the moment also, we don't know
for the
about
moment,
the.
and they have it's a they have a great industry there. So Nigeria, South Africa are definitely the thing. The problem in Africa is that the governments are not really heavily uh, investing in culture. What the hell is this?
There's like a thumbs up that appeared on the
Where?
screen here on our webcam.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. No, but actually, one thing that comes to my mind, I just remember, for example, like District 8. I don't know if you
District
saw
9.
it.
Yeah, District 8 is a great movie.
District
District
9, sorry,
9.
District 9.
District 9 is better. District 8 is a good movie that we still haven't seen, but District 9 it's a much better movie.
But like District 9, because I wrote a paper on it actually at university still. I mean, great movie and great idea, well done and everything. And if I remember properly, it was made by a white South African director.
South African, yeah.
But the thing is that it was actually, like, thinking about it now, speaking with you, the film was actually all focused on the white character going inside and becoming himself the
black character.
the black guy,
It was
exactly. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, at least it makes sense now to me that it's a white director, because at least he tells it from his own perspective that he gets there. But still, it would have been interesting to see a bit more the aliens' perspective, I guess, because it's really dramatized and it's like a bit comic. It's like it's not as deep, the alien story. It's more about him, I guess, in the film.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it. So
You haven't seen it? Okay, sorry, no, I thought you saw it.
Shame on you.
Shame on you, Kirill.
It's a
Finally,
great movie.
finally a movie that Kirill hasn't seen.
Actually, the director's name is Neil Blomkamp.
Right.
And,
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
I disagree with your perspective on this one. I feel like he gave a really compelling stories, and the film is actually criticizing apartheid and
Yeah.
racism and everything. So yeah, I feel like he did the right thing by telling the movie from his perspective as a white South African.
Yeah.
You know, trying to tell the perspective from the aliens, which quote unquote are the blacks, would have been exactly what I've just criticized earlier.
Maybe, yeah. Actually.
You know, because all the time when you watch those movies, it's like the white savior comes to the aid of the black victim.
Yeah.
You know, and we are tired of that. But also, artistically speaking, I understand where you're coming from. Where it would have been nice to see also the perspective from the. But we've seen that in so many movies.
No, you're right, and maybe it's also more relatable for the other people. And
Exactly.
yeah, no, it's true. It makes sense actually. Also.
I feel like the fact that this white dude, through the film, completely changes his perspective. You know, I think it's more compelling. It's more real. You know, to tell the story from that perspective. You know, the realization that his world is not exactly what it's supposed to, what he thought he was, and yeah, I can. I believe it was supposed to be, they were supposed to work on the sequel.
I think yes, yeah. But didn't they do it actually?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. And to be honest with you, I would rather they don't. I'm not a. Now I'm gonna sound a little bit contradictory. Like I love franchise. You know, one of my favorite of all time is the Back to the Future. That's like my childhood. You know, I love Indiana Jones series. I mean the first three. The last two are like crap. I love, you know, the Marvel stuff and everything, but I don't like when we're making sequels just because the first movie was a hit. You know, leave it be. District 9 is a great movie. All right, he told a story. And then you remember, Kirill, we always talk about, you know, letting the audience think and, you know, imagine the end of the film. You know, everybody's has its own interpretation, but we should allow ourselves to, we should trust the audience to be smart enough to make their own conclusion. And I felt like giving a sequel to District 9 will only serve one purpose, making money. And I don't think we should do that. Except if you have a real good story. District 9 is what, like 10 years old, 15
Yeah,
years old?
yeah, something like 15 maybe already. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe 20 years old after you can, but I think it would do a disservice to the first movie. You know what I mean? It's like we've seen that so many times, like a great movie followed by a shitty sequel.
Yeah, that's true. What are some African movies that you would recommend us and the viewers to watch? I've seen very few, but probably you, Ivan,
Same,
too.
yeah.
So just to get to know African cinema better, what are some movies that you have, like off the top of your head, if you have some that you would recommend?
Oh, you put me on the spot now, right now. Like,
You can give us a list and we can put in the description.
Yeah, we can
actually,
do that
we
as
always
well.
do it.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
That's
I think I would do that. Did we already have that conversation before?
I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
Not on
I think I had
paper.
that conversation with someone, and I mentioned actually some film, African films
Okay.
that you could watch. Most of those that I've watched and that I can recommend are actually French-speaking films. Uh, uh, you have a movie called Cas. Actually, those are comedies. Actually, most of the films that I would recommend right now are comedies. You have this film from these two Cameroonians, French Cameroonian actors and directors, uh, Thomas Guijol and Fabrice Eboué. It's called The Crocodile of Botswana.
Okay.
It's hilarious. It's an hilarious movie that makes fun of colonialism and neo-colonialism. It's actually rather recent. It was released in the 2010s. Um, but you have yeah, I don't know the title in English though. Let me set up a list for you guys, and I will send it, and you can
Yeah.
actually
No, we'll write you about that.
uh,
And but
right.
another thing I remember, we started working on a project, but then we didn't have the chance to do it. But while we were working on it with you, you continued to mention how hard it is to work in Africa also, and sometimes that you have like let's say, I don't know, say unofficial struggles or stuff like that because of the corruption in the system and stuff like that. And because you are actually invested in making also African cinema, how do you fight with that, or like how do you go around it? Because I mean in Russia it's really similar, for example, and I mean in Italy, but probably in Russia it's a bit worse. But still, how do you
Worse in
manage?
Italy. It's worse in Italy.
I think it's worse in Russia than in Italy because I mean now it's also a bit complicated, but in general it's hard to go around some things or just to get access to some stuff if you don't know people.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or you just like, how would you say you go around it in Africa? How do you
You don't.
you don't you just go with it?
All right. I want to be fair, okay? The economic, the economy in Africa makes it really difficult for artists to prevail, especially in the film industry. I started telling you that earlier. The governments in Africa, especially in French-speaking countries, don't invest in movies at all. Uh, you got countries that don't even have movie theaters anymore.
Crazy.
Like, yeah, like I was in Rwanda last summer. They just closed down the last movie theater there. you know. In Cameroon, for a while, we didn't have movie theaters. Like we had a bunch of movie theaters, like in the 70s and the 80s, and then in the 90s and the 2000s, they closed all the movie theaters. I think now they started reopening some of them.
But because of censorship or?
Um, Censorship, yes, but also they're not making money.
Ah, yeah.
You know, Africa is 95% of the people in Africa are out of the banking system. They don't have bank accounts.
Really? So many?
Yeah,
Wow.
we don't work with bank accounts in Africa. Like this has still this has yet to be uh, an everyday privilege.
Crazy.
You know, we do have bank accounts, but 95% of the population is out of the banking system.
So
You
they
know,
just do it cash or something like this?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's the first issue. The second issue is, once again, the government doesn't promote cinema. So it's hard for them to understand why we should pour so much money into something that's really unattainable, you know? Um, it's abstract. So it's not part of their, like, until now, but not as much. But in Africa, when you were born in a family and you told people that you were going to be either an athlete or an artist, they will deem you a delinquent, you know. So it wasn't really something that was heavily promoted because they thought, only good for nothing people were choosing this path. And then you have a bunch of people that are passionate about this. They want to, make movies. They want to do TV series and stuff. But it's difficult because they don't have the budgets. So it's difficult to go and call someone and tell them to come and work for you for almost nothing. It's really hard. So what happens when you don't have money and you have someone asking you to do something for them? Well, you're asking them to pay you, you know. And once one person pays you, well, you feel like you can get some more from another one and another one and another one and another one. So the corruption comes from the top and trickle all the ways down to the bottom. So I'm not judging these people because the circumstances are making it really hard for them to work. Um, but hey, when you have to deal with them, uh, it's it's a challenge. It's a challenge. So, but yeah, you can't go around. You always have to, so when you build your budget, you should know that part of your budget, like a small part of the budget, should be uh, directed to all the all the money that you have to give away.
The tariffs, let's say.
Yeah.
The tariffs, exactly. That's how you have to do it. You have to think. If you go there with a cowboy mind and thinking that you're gonna beat the system or whatever, you're gonna get crushed. Because you will have to pay. Even here, um, it happens. So, for example, Omar Sy, who did,
Ah,
you
yeah.
know who that is? Yeah, the actor.
One plus
He
one.
produced that show, Arsène Lupin. They went to shoot the second or the third season in a neighborhood in the suburbs, right? but they didn't tell the local youth over there that they were going to shoot. They came and they broke everything on set, you know. Because instead, so what you do here when you want to shoot in those places, you talk to the guys, that rules the neighborhood or whatever, and you hired people from the neighborhood to do security or whatever, and it's corruption, but still, that's how you pay your piece, right? So it's the same we're doing in Africa, but we're just doing it in a more visceral way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but
That's also a producer's job to understand this
it's a
kind
pro-
of the
it's a
things.
producer's job. Yeah, that's part of the. You have to be diplomatic. You have to be able to, you know, uh, uh, please everybody at some point, even if you can't please everybody. But yeah, you have to. But you can't go around it. You just have to deal with it in the best way you can.
Yeah. I don't know if you have any more questions. I just wanted to ask, just to conclude with a positive note, if you have any words of like motivation or inspiration for like emerging filmmakers who, want to start in the business.
I think I told you that once before, and I will always tell you that it is not my place to actually uh, tell you what to do and how to do it, because my path is so different from the usual filmmakers, and I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to make it happen. But what I will say is this: never give up. Never give up on your passion, and never give up. Be resilient and never give up. If I have one advice to give you guys, is that uh, you have a you live in a world where it's easier to make things happen because of the tools that are being given to us, right? Internet, social media, etc., etc. Even the AI thing, even though we got to be cautious with that. You have the knowledge, you have the education, you have the youth, and you have the brain. But you need to have the passion, and that passion, never let anyone take it away from you. So never give up. You're gonna run into a lot of obstacles, but never give up. That's the best advice I could give you. Cause giving up would be failure is part of this of the of the road, right? Uh, to be successful, you need to fail. So whenever you fail, it's okay. Get back up on your feet, and find a way to make it happen. But never give up. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for.
Yeah, and thank you for
that's my
being
philosophy.
That's very nice. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It was
Thank
very
you
nice.
guys. I appreciate it. It was nice. I always appreciate our conversations. I hope we have some more. And next time, I'll invite you to my podcast.
Oh, thank you very
Let's do it.
much.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can finally
But
meet in person also.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I was
It's been a
I was
while.
about to say, if we're doing this again, let's do it in person. Like I would love for you guys to come over to Paris and spend some time here. So
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that will be amazing. We'll do it. We'll do it for
yeah.
sure.
But I'm really proud of you guys. I'm witnessing you guys becoming uh, the filmmakers that you've been dreaming to be. I've seen some of your work. I'm still really, really a big, huge supporter of Nanti Cento, which is a great, great, great short film that the audience should watch. I can't wait to see your future, and I will always be there to support, to help as much as I can, and yeah, you're like my little brothers from other mothers, and I'm really really proud of you guys. So keep working hard, keep believing in yourselves, and I'm only one phone call away. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and
Thank
we
you, man,
always
really.
learn a lot by talking to you, and there's always something interesting that we learn from your conversations. And I personally feel more also motivated to then keep working afterwards.
Yeah, and that's the
Oh,
same for me, really.
do you think? Do you think?
Awesome.
So
Well,
yeah, thank you for being with us, and thank you
Yeah.
guys as
Thank you.
well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Till next time. All right.
yeah. Till next time.
Till next
Goodbye.
time, but don't close the call.
Yeah. But to the audience, goodbye and see you in the next episode.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you.